You still don't get it, do you, boys? There ain't no countries anymore. No more good guys. They're running the whole show. They own everything, the whole goddamn planet. They can do whatever they want.
In 2019, there were 609,000 people missing. 609,000 people. In 2020, there were 543,000 people missing. Now, where the hell could all these people be? Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. This is kind of like, well, this is part 2, I guess you can say, where I'm talking about aliens, reptilians and aliens. A lot of you love my video about a woman who said that she saw a reptilian at the gym. And I showed you some video clips from a movie called The Midnight Meat Train and how they have put this on TV, okay? And a show called V, I showed that clip, and that's also on Tubi for free, as well as The Midnight Meat Train. And a lot of you, I was looking through the comments, all right? And a lot of you brung up this film called They Live. And yes, I've seen They Live. I told you I used to be heavily into this type of stuff. So I've seen a lot of the classics, They Live, and a few more other movies that I'm going to talk about today. So look, with reptilians, looking through the comments, there has been a common thing that I've seen, not only with films, but in the comments section, okay? And I'm going to say that real quick before we jump into this, okay? With today's video, this is about, are they here? It doesn't have to be reptilians. It can simply be other type of aliens, okay? A number of you are saying that, look, a number of you are saying that these are not aliens, that these are demons. Common theme I've seen in the comment section with a number of you is saying that they are demons. You're saying that, a number of you are saying that they're fallen angels. A number are saying that, oh, well, let me get my thoughts together. Okay, here's the things, okay. I personally, I believe that other life forms exist. The same way we have cute little puppies and sharks and ants, different creations. I don't believe that human beings are the only living, intelligent beings that exist in the universe, in the galaxy. And to me, just because something is different and intelligent and maybe even humanoid looking, it doesn't mean that they are a demon and that they want to hurt you. Are some of them evil? Of course they are. They're different types, just like there are evil humans. Now, I hear people saying that, well, oh, the firmament exists above Earth. We can't get out of Earth. The moon landing was fake because there's something that doesn't allow us to leave off the planet, and that there's water above us. Just like in the ocean, there's water above us. I always get confused about that. I'm like, well, why isn't the water falling on us and stuff? I mean, we have rain from humidity and stuff, but I don't know if that sounds crazy, me saying that, but I'm like, so if we can't get out and there's a firmament, then how are fallen angels even coming? UFOs, aliens, fallen angels, not human. How could they come down to Earth if you can't even get in or out of Earth, type of thing? Then there are other people saying, well, heaven and hell is not real. Heaven and hell is a state of consciousness, positivity and negativity. Oh, then there are people who say, well, no, hell exists, but it's a different realm. It's a different dimension. Just like we have the third dimension we supposedly live in. And then they say that these reptilians and other beings live in the fifth dimension. It's just different dimensions or different realities, a portal or a different state of the mind. These are all the different things I hear. Then people say, oh no, the fallen were, they were angels and they were beautiful and they were men and they saw how pretty, beautiful human women were. They came to Earth and then they slept with us and made the Nephilim, who were like 7 feet to 20 feet tall. So how does it go from Nephilim, the babies from a fallen angel, non-human, and a human woman, looking human that's 7 feet tall? They say they have 2 rows of teeth, red hair, they're very tall. So how do you get that a shape-shifting reptilian all of a sudden is the offspring of a Nephilim and a woman? Those are 2 different separate things. I'm just saying. Then there are people who say, oh no, they're in the inner earth, the hollow earth, Agartha, and all of that. The cities underground, they're in the Arctic. You get there through the Arctic. That's why the government has the Arctic North Pole closed off, because there's another continent over there. There's an inner Earth. They're not allowing people to get in. That's where the reptilians are, and these different beings and everything like that. And people who were saying, oh, the girl was wearing crystals, that's demonic, and oh, these are demons. When I was growing up, a demon meant a being, a creature-looking thing that lives in hell, not an alien that's a different species than you. Or, look, of course, if you are Christian, y'all are going to say this, because that's sort of what's in the book that you're following. Everything, if it's not Jesus, that means that it's evil and is out to harm you. Or they're demons. I mean, even humans to me can be demons, the things that I see on the news every single day. But yeah, I believe that there are different life forms. I believe that the creator of us and the universe it just didn't stop with humans. I believe that there are other beings out there. We hear about the Greys and the tall whites, the Nordic type of aliens, and the reptilians and stuff. I believe that there's a lot of different stuff around. Some of them are good and don't want to be bothered or found out, and others are evil and survive off blood. In a lot of these films that I'm going to show you, I'm not going to play the clips, but there's a common theme. Been on Earth or know about Earth for a long time. Can read minds, can tell the future. Has super strength type of thing. Some of them like virgins because of virgin blood and purity type of thing. Secret societies, governments being involved. This is a common thing. Them being around, but you don't know. Some of them pass as human. They Live is a classic film right here. And let's look at a clip real quick. What was going on with They Live? This came out, I believe, during the 80s. And basically it's saying that you're surrounded by them. Now, they didn't look like reptilians, but they could be. You know, they shapeshift. In this movie, once he put on these glasses, he could see what was really around. And they're saying, well, how they program humans to go along with the program. And it's sort of like the midnight meat train. Go along with everyday life while we actually kidnap y'all and eat y'all and do all this craziness. And you don't know what's going on. It's the unseen of what you don't see. Okay, so let's look real quick. Also, again, I have to pause it still because of copyright issues while I play this clip, but I will again explain what's going on if you don't understand what's going on with this film called They Live. A classic film. Okay, so you have this man and he put on sunglasses. He didn't know what would happen, and he put on the sunglasses. Okay, he's seeing in front of him the building says, obey. Obey. Of course, he can't believe what he's seeing. You wouldn't believe seeing something like that either. It says to marry and reproduce. This is what you're told to do living here on Earth. And it is human nature, but I'm saying. It says, what it really says is no independent thought. Do not think for yourself. It says, stay asleep and obey. It's not a regular magazine. So they've programmed it, the mind, to do all of these things, and it looks like something completely different to you. But that's what it actually says. And the aliens are the ones who have done this. Buy products, buy things, and don't question authority.
What's your problem? I said, what's your problem?
Of course, you would freak out. He saw him for what he really looked like. He looks human, but he actually saw what he really looks like. There is no way you would stay sane seeing something like that. You probably would pass out or start screaming and hollering and running around the place seeing something like that.
How are you today, sir?
Okay, how's it going?
Fine, thank you.
So he's able to see that there are, in fact, other real humans like him on the earth, but clearly there's a different species surrounding us that you know nothing about, an entire different world where you've been programmed type of thing.
You still don't get it, do you, boys? There ain't no countries anymore. No more good guys. They're running the whole show. They own everything, the whole goddamn planet. They can do whatever they want.
He says there's no longer countries like you think. He says they run the whole damn world. They can do whatever they want to do.
What's wrong with having it good for a change? And they're going to let us have it good if we just help them. They're going to leave us alone. Let's make some money. You can have a little taste of that good life, too. I know you want it.
He says they're going to leave us alone if we just cooperate and do what they want. The question is, what do they want? More than likely, they're studying you genetically, finding out what your strength and what your weakness is, type of thing. If they can create hybrids with you, the temperature of how the planet is, if they can do a whole takeover and actually survive living on the planet, if they enjoy eating humans like they say, the government is giving them missing children, especially and other adult people, to eat and all of this stuff and do experiments with, type of thing. And he says that, you can get rich like me. We cooperate and they give us money. And I know you want this. We all do. You can't beat these things. They already run everything.
Hell, everybody does.
Do it to your own kind.
What's the threat? We all sell out every day. Might as well be on the winning team. See you, boys.
So he says that, look, people sell out all the time. You might as well be on the winning team. Y'all are not going to win this. And you notice the technology that he used to disappear. And they have said that our government allegedly has technology that's 50 to 60 years ahead of what we see right now. And they're getting it from alien ships that have crashed, like Roswell, Area 51, and all of that, or the beings that's in the inner earth who are advanced type of stuff. So these are things that people say. Okay, let's see another clip real quick. He said it too. He says, well, most of us humans, we sell out to these aliens and we get promotions and we end up getting a lot of money. We get more money.
We start buying new houses, cars. Perfect, isn't it? We'll do anything to be rich. Look around.
He says we'll do anything to be rich.
The environment we live in, carbon dioxide, fluoride.
Okay, so this man was on the TV telling them, because they have their underground group, of what they're doing. He says carbon dioxide and all this stuff has increased since 1958. They're changing the planet and stuff.
Carbons and methane have increased since 1958. Earth is being acclimatized. They are turning our atmosphere into their atmosphere.
He says they're changing our planet to their atmosphere. And people say this is why climate change is going on. That's why it's getting hotter, because they're terraforming our planet.
What do these things want, and why are they here? It's in their best interests. They're free enterprisers. The Earth is just another developing planet. Their third world.
He says that to the aliens, we're a third world and we're just another developing planet in comparison to them, and that they're looking out for their interests.
We are like a natural resource to them. Deplete the planet, move on to another.
He says we're a natural resource to them. They want to deplete the planet and then they want to move on to another planet. That was in that movie Independence Day with Will Smith.
They want benign indifference. They want us drug. We could be pets. We could be food.
He says we could be pets to them or we could be food to them. Baby, maybe as both. If these things are real. Okay, that's the key word, if it's real.
But all we really are is livestock.
And then he said, but what we really are is livestock, if you didn't hear what he said. So, I know a lot of you believe that there are aliens. Some of you believe, again, that they are demons. And, you know, I gave my opinion earlier, but I'm not going to tell you not to believe that. I think it's all tied in together type of thing. You know, when you're little, you hear, oh, hell is a big old thing of lava or fire, a thing of fire. You get thrown in there if you wasn't good, and the devil's waiting down there and all these creatures called demons and stuff. Then, you know, some of you believe that. Others are like, no, it's just bad entities, bad energy, bad people doing terrible things, getting off on the energy of human suffering type of thing. Others like, no, it's aliens, but they're wicked and evil. They were here long ago. You know, we as humans are not the first creation probably in the whole universe type of thing. I know some of you believe in the mothership and the Galactic Federation, the Anunnaki, the Nephilim again. And so a lot of things, again, are very similar themes in a lot of these different type of movies where, you know, in that movie, The Devil's Advocate, when Al Pacino, I think Al Pacino, he was like, you know, I have so many different names, he said, as the devil. He was like, they call me all types of different stuff. And that's sort of the thing with this, with aliens, demons, entities, all this stuff. A lot of things can have different names, but when you break things down, some of them can be very similar or the same thing type of thing. Again, I personally believe that there are other humanoid life forms besides just humans who are intelligent, light years away, who probably do have really advanced technology. I think some of them are good and I think some of them are evil. And I think there are other life forms on planets who wonder if they're alone, just like we have, but they don't have the technology to find out. You know, we might be a young species or creation in comparison to some other group, but to another group, we are more advanced than them type of thing. So, okay, I had told you about the Midnight Meat Train. It's free on Tubi. Some of you actually checked out this movie and you absolutely loved it. Okay, and this was about reptilians. I will not say more about it. I did on the other video. Check that out on Tubi. But basically, the government, some of them, small group who finds out they were involved. People are missing. And you find out what's really going on, what people are missing. And, well, I told you they're reptilians. We're going to leave it at that. Another film that I want to talk about, I just thought about this. I love this film. It's called The Astronaut's Wife. It's with Johnny Depp and Charlize Theron. And it's really, really good. Now, I didn't see this on Tubi, but you can see it on a different streaming service. And baby, I love this. Now, if you don't want me to ruin any of these films, because I have to tell you about it, I just have to, so you know what's going on. And why I thought of this when it comes to aliens and demons and UFOs and different, all this stuff, basically with the astronaut's wife is that it made me think of how easy it could be for other species to come here who have more technology. Basically, aliens had took over her husband, but they got here through a transmission. They could travel like the speed of sound. Basically, a satellite or picking up on stuff, a transmission, like when you turn on a radio. And they could build something where their bodies and who they are can travel through the light, through the transmission, and take over your body and come on a new planet and live and take over all types of stuff, tell the future, has all these capabilities, super strength because they're not human, even though they look human. And if you watch the film, there's a certain scene at a dinner table where you realize, oh, they were already here. because they were on the radio, but it was a signal that the human we can't pick up on. So they were already here doing this, but people didn't know. Okay, you need to see that. When y'all brung up demons, I couldn't help but think of this film. I love this film. It is free to watch right here on YouTube and on Tubi. It's free on Tubi. It's called Fallen with Denzel Washington, and basically he's a cop. And there's people always say when we see all this craziness happening here in the United States and around the world, where people just one day are normal and then you find out that they took out their whole family. We see it every week, and people are like, the demons is jumping in the bodies. These are not these people. These are entities that's taken over these people to carry out and do all this evil stuff and create hell on earth type of thing. So with this film Fallen, he's a police officer, and there's a serial murderer who's getting the D penalty, and he basically tries to do something to take over Denzel, but he can't. And he's like, oh, you're still a good person, because it's so many bad people that he can just go in and out of bodies type of thing. But he doesn't know what's going on, Denzel, until he finds out what's really going on Earth, and a woman that he meets who tells him what is really going down. I wanted to play the clip for you where he discovered the name of who this fallen angel is. It is in the Bible, and how he was roaming around, jumping in the bodies and stuff, doing all types of stuff. And he can't believe what he's seeing. He can't even believe it. Most people would never believe it, especially when you see it up close and personal. The film is called Fallen. Y'all really need to check that out if you didn't see that. If you go to tell a movie reactor too, they need to check out this film and react to it. So again, the common theme, missing people. I actually looked this up. It says, although most of the missing person cases are soon resolved, they remain open for decades. It says as of January of 2025 of this year, over 25,500 people are missing. Their cases are still open, okay? So basically 25,000. And it said that the number of missing people in our country from 1990 to 2024, it says, okay, so far I was able to pull up that in 2019, there were 609,000 people missing. 609,000 people. In 2020, there were 543,000 people missing. In 2021, there were 521,000 people missing. I'm rounding up. And in 2022, there were 546,000 people missing, and a few more. You know how many people that is? There are over 500,000 people. Even more. This was in 2022. 546,000 Americans missing in the United States. Now, where the hell could all these people be? That's a hell of a lot of people. And the bodies are not being found. There are no bones being discovered every week. No dogs sniffing up the bones or nothing. They're not here. So either you have serial murderers, aliens kidnapping them, and yes, the reptilians, all that stuff, all of them, taking them, eating them. And then you have humans who are evil, who are kidnapping and all that. So, I mean, just take a look at how many Americans are missing in the U.S. That's a hell of a lot. So we know something's going on, and that they're not even being looked for in very large numbers at all. We know this is not normal. We know it. Just imagine what's really going on. Okay, so speaking of aliens, let's look at the different type of aliens that allegedly exist. Some are already here on Earth and look human, and others that the government has allegedly come into contact with. Okay, so this is a picture of different races of aliens that exist. You have Octorians, you have the feline group. Hold on, let me make it a little bit bigger. Allegedly, people have seen them. Octorians, the felines, the Andromedans, the Teleson or something, Telesion, the tall white, the reptilian, the blue avian, the Anunnaki, and the gray. So far, the only ones that really look human is the Telozon and the Anunnaki. Now, we know about the grays. We've been hearing about the grays that come from Zeta Verticulus or something like that, Zeta something, for a long time. Okay, so let's see a little bit more.
About reptilians and insectoids and detailing 4 different types of alien species. And I've watched your face many times during that exchange, and
What would you describe my expression
I don't want to put words on it, but I've been dying to know what was going through your mind as he was saying that.
Yeah, so I've heard those 4 creatures before. I've heard those 4 classifications in meetings in this office from other people. But what I wasn't expecting is for him to say it. I wasn't expecting Eric Davis, respected scientist, to say that. Now, my follow-up should have been, and you always think of what you should have asked as a follow-up.
I'll do that in this interview.
My follow-up should have been, okay, what evidence did you receive to make that conclusion, right? Have you personally seen these 4 different species? Have you seen the biologics of them? Have you seen, like, what or was it relayed to you second hand or third hand?
You don't have any clarity on that yet? Because that was one of my big questions is, was he speaking from firsthand knowledge?
I will say I have noticed an increase of people who have worked for the government in some type of way, saying that, look, we have the aliens, we've seen them, we do things with them, we get technology from them, the government is fully aware of them. I just find it amazing you see so many coming forward, and sometimes I wonder, is it made up? Are they really? I believe they exist, but back in the day, they would be afraid to lose their life, or do they think y'all not gonna believe it anyway? So let's just tell you the truth, because y'all probably won't believe it, and if you do, we can't even give you the full evidence anyway, because the government would never allow that to happen. I've heard people saying they want the government to release files on Area 51 or the Roswell crash and a lot of things. And personally, I do believe that some of them are telling the truth. But I also believe that a lot of people don't want to believe that it's true. So, okay.
Is anybody else starting to notice that there are not just humans walking around here? So I went to go look for a fork in the food court, and when I went up to this burger place, it was empty. Like, it didn't have no customers, it was like only one person working and another person behind the grill. And this lady, she looked Mexican, or I don't know, Middle Eastern, and we had asked her, do you have a fork? And she looked like she didn't understand what we were saying. So we were like, okay, maybe she speak a different language. And then we said it again, but she started speaking regular. And when we asked for the fork, it just looked like she wanted to growl at us, and she looked like she was just trying to hold back her bloodlust. I don't know. It looked like she was trying to hide, or like she was sent in to try to train to be around humans. I don't this is just what I'm picking up. It was not a regular interaction with it didn't feel human. Her energy felt like she had some malicious bloodlust behind herself, and she was trying to hold it back. And she was it was just, you can tell in the eyes always, just the way she was moving and walking to go get the fork, her body, it just looked like she just got into a meat suit, and she's still in training around being around humans, and this job is what she's working at to train. I don't know if these malls are special centers for these other species to train to be around humans and just work and do those type of things, but that was not a natural encounter. I don't know, I'm just overthinking too much, but what I felt, and when I felt her energy, it just felt like she wanted to eat me, and she was trying to hold it back. Once she corrected herself, it was like she was about to speak in another language, but it was, listen, Once she corrected herself, she spoke perfect English. And she did not have a foreign accent. She did not have a Mexican accent. Moral of the story is, it ain't just humans out here. And some of them are in training in these malls to be around us.
You know, I mean, I have heard about hybrids being created. I mean, she could be just crazy and a cannibal. Cannibals do exist, but you never know. I mean, I've heard several of them say they look human, or some of them are hybrids and stuff. And I don't know. They always say in the movies the takeover happened and people didn't even know or see it coming because it was always happening. You just didn't know. Okay, the hybrid stuff and everything.
All right, y'all, here are 5 beings that I've come across while astral traveling, terrestrial and extraterrestrial. It's like they knew I was gonna make this video because they kept giving me information to tell humans. So I was like, all right, I know where we're going with this. First one is the sirens. I had no idea I had a connection with these beings until they invited me to their worlds. It was so cool. These are deep sea sirens, so they live deep down in the ocean. They don't like humans because of how humans have treated them and their cousins, the mer people. So at one point, the mer people tried to mess with humans. You already know that history, and it didn't work out, and so they decided to go back into hiding. But humans were evil, bro, to these guys. Mer people are a lot more warrior-like and a lot more fierce, you could say. And they live in these like underground cities that are kind of like cave systems. Yes, they get shapeshift into humans, not as often as the mer people because the mer people are closer to the surface. But when they do, you could tell that they're sirens. 1, because their eyes are really bright, or 2, because of their teeth. They're like really sharp. Number 2 is Sasquatches. Now, these beings' culture is interesting. They live in deep forested areas. We're talking Appalachian Mountains and the rainforest there, which are beautiful. Alaska, Russia, Scandinavia, Argentina, Chile, those type of areas. I astral traveled to the Appalachian Mountains and they were there and they saw me, and they get aggressive first because their rule is like just kill a human on sight, because humans used to really experiment on them bad. And then they made this like agreement. It was like, stay in hiding or else we're gonna have to kill all of y'all. But it's harder to stay in hiding because of how humans are taking over everything. Once they trusted me, it was very emotional because they were so afraid, but they were also sad and really angry. And I could see why they felt this way toward humans with how humans have been treating them. They kept talking about how a lot of their territory is now turning into parks. So they've had to go even deeper and their populations got smaller. Very interesting talking to these guys. Number 3 is reptilians. Now there's different types. There's like alpha draconians with wings. There's the classic looking reptilians, smaller versions. And we also have dragon reptilians. Yes, and they can shapeshift. There was a lot of factions that left the main group, which was the NAA, the Negative Alien Agenda, or the Siakar Empire, because they were so focused on conquest, and these other factions were like, yo, we don't want to take over everything. Most of the wars that happened in the galaxy were related to these beings because they were so obsessed with taking over everything. But they are really strong, very powerful warriors, and especially when they're of the light, they're powerful healers. Next up is dragons, and you know I love these beings. And what's interesting about them is they can be positive or negative, but no matter what, they are great beings of the universe. Almost all beings in the galaxy have a dragon guide, a dragon leader, or a dragon protector, because this is like dragons' purpose for being in the universe. Essentially, they're protectors for all life in the universe, and a lot of Earth people have worked with them, like for example the Chinese, huge, and so many other cultures. But know this, the dragons are here and they're everywhere. And remember that there's so many different types of dragons. There's lightning dragons, fire dragons, ether dragons, earth dragons, so many different types. And you notice that they're attached to a certain universal element. This is a common thing for dragons, is to be attached to a certain element and provide that energy for certain civilizations and people or beings that need it. Now the last one is archangels. These beings are very interesting because they are like the police of the universe, and they make sure that the structure of reality maintains itself, and they do whatever work necessary to make sure that the universal plan continues. So this means they have access to all densities and they work on all densities in different ways. And you already know they serve source, God, universe, whatever you want to call it, the greater energy that we all are, they serve that. And people got to stop fighting about what they look like, because they could look like this, they could look like this, they could look like the bottom picture, they could look like anything, but overall you know it's them because they have this large, bright, powerful ass love white light energy. They could be ascended souls, which are basically souls like me and you who have ascended to this position, or they could be created by source specifically for this role. But know that they are guides, protectors, healers, and they each have like their own personality, which is why we have different archangel names. They're all here for the entire universe.
So what do y'all think? Do you believe that there are different types of species? He named a few that we know we've heard of on Earth, like Bigfoot, the archangels, the reptilians, and more. Let's see a little bit more of how these aliens supposedly look. These ones look kind of human.
Humans can't conceive how crowded the universe is yet. Our entire solar system is inhabited. There's life on almost every planet and star, even if we can't detect it. Sometimes life exists in other frequencies or dimensions and densities beyond our senses.
Alien species, the Cygnus alphans.
Okay, now that looks like a Black American woman. Or maybe she could even be half Asian, half Hispanic, but pretty human looking.
They're from the Cygnus constellation in our northern sky. They look very much like humans, except they are taller, ranging from 5 to 9 feet tall, with most of the females being much taller than the men. They follow the cosmic law of one. They also believe that there is no right or wrong, only learning. Their spacecraft use biological supercomputers and are able to travel through space and time. The Cygnus alphans are superior healers, and they can use sound to do so. They are also extremely talented at enhancing auras and the astral body. They will often enhance the frequency of water they drink to tune their bodies to elevate octave frequencies.
I don't agree with there's no such thing as right and wrong, just learning. There are things that are bad. Okay, there are things that are bad and should be seen as bad. Yes, you can learn from them, but it's still bad. Some stuff, some things.
Alien species, the Aryans.
Now that looks like an Asian woman.
They're from the Aldebaran system in the Taurus constellation. They look very similar to the Asians here on Earth. Their height ranges from 5 to 6 feet tall. They believe in the cosmic law of one. They thrive on working with other races. The Aryans are explorers, anthropologists, and gene specialists. They are experts at intergalactic languages. For their technology, they use fusion engines that allow them to travel through the antimatter universe. Their largest craft is up to 3,000 feet long. Also, they're able to regrow and replace limbs using DNA. The Aryans are fully conscious and sovereign beings. Their telepathic headgear amplifies brain frequencies 100,000 times to open channels of communication to the biological supercomputer on board their craft.
So if they can heal people and regrow limbs, why come... If humans know about them and they exist, I'm wondering, have they ever tried to help humans and help us heal and not be sick? I have heard of the government allegedly meeting aliens who said, we can help you, we can cure you. But then they said no, because it would ruin the whole pharmaceutical industry and, you know, thriving off of humans being sick and all of that. But I would love, look, if an alien has technology to heal us, I would totally support it. If you can regrow limbs and everything like that and heal cancers and more, that would be wonderful.
Alien species, the Apunians.
Now, I've never heard of them, and they look sort of Nordic, the whole, tall white Nordics.
They are from Alpha Centauri. They were first documented by 4 Peruvian contactees in the 1950s. They are a Nordic-looking race, very attractive, basically like us humans. They follow the cosmic law of one. They claim that there is 1,019,000 civilizations in the universe. They work to transform negative energies and embrace species and consider themselves brothers and sisters to all. They have been focusing their attention on helping the poor regions in Peru. Their technology allows themselves to levitate by wearing special belts and wristbands. They can contact other worlds by the use of time bubbles. They are telepathic and can heal people with their thoughts.
I mean, that's pretty amazing if this is true. And look, a lot of people, I know people are going to bring up religion. There are a number of people who are religious from different religions, and a lot of people who, I know a lot of being Christian is pushed a lot, and they're like, look, just call on Jesus. And a lot of people do that. People are already doing that. And I mean, people get different results from doing that type of thing. But I do believe that there are other life forms. I definitely do. And they have their gifts and everything. So that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. And they look very diverse, as you can see. Allegedly, these are the species that exist.
Nordic aliens are a category of extraterrestrial beings described in UFO lore and contactee accounts that first gained prominence in the 1950s. They are typically portrayed as tall, human-like figures with fair skin, light hair, and blue eyes, often resembling the Nordic peoples of Northern Europe. Early reports, most notably those associated with George Adamski, depicted them as benevolent visitors concerned with the spiritual and ecological well-being of humanity. According to these accounts, Nordic aliens originate from a highly evolved civilization, sometimes said to be from the Pleiades star cluster, and possesses advanced telepathic abilities to allow them to communicate directly with human minds. Encounters with Nordic aliens are usually characterized by messages of peace, warnings about environmental destruction, and encouragement of moral progress. Witnesses often describe being guided through homespun spacecraft or experiencing a gentle, non-threatening presence during brief abduction experiences. Skeptics note that these narratives reflect Western cultural ideals of beauty and virtue and argue that they may be influenced by human psychology rather than objective extraterrestrial contact.
Well, I definitely would believe they exist. Again, different types of creations. And they have said before, a number of them blend in right in with humans. Right in with humans, a good portion of them. You wouldn't even know that some of them are aliens the way that they look, type of thing. Then I've heard there are others who don't, and they love Halloween because they get to walk around looking like how they really look, and you have no idea that this really an alien type of thing. So let's just see. I believe that's it. Let me see if I have one more video when it comes to the aliens.
So apparently we know of 69 different alien species.
These are just catalog 69 different species.
Okay, that's a lot of noise. You probably can't hear it, but yeah, he says 69 that we know of. The government, not we, the government knows of, because the government is not releasing the files of what they have found. And will the truth ever come out? Will the truth ever be revealed? I mean, maybe some of you might meditate and try to contact them, type of thing. And again, I know that people are going to say, oh, they're demons. I don't believe they're all demons just because they're not human beings. We have evil human beings every day. And I'm tired of the shunning of knowledge. When it comes, look, this is not an attack type of video type of thing. But I just noticed that with a lot of people who are very religious, especially Christian, because I'm in the U.S. and Christianity is the biggest religion here. There's a shunning of people having knowledge. There's a shunning of the desire to have more knowledge. And I don't understand that. What is wrong with exploring and finding out more? Now, we see in the movies a common theme, though. Sometimes you might find out things, and things could turn into a disaster, or something is more powerful than you, or you don't know as much type of thing. And you have to be very careful type of thing. But I also noticed that every time someone wants to know more, all of a sudden it's the shunning. Oh, just stay in your place, minion, stay in your place, and don't question your environment. Don't question the world you live in. And, oh, well, if it's not about Jesus, then it's automatically the devil and evil, and you shouldn't want to know more, or all this stuff. I mean, I don't feel that way, but some people do, and that's fine. That's fine. Feel however you want when it comes to that. But I like to discover new things. I like more of the truth to come out. I believe that there are other life forms besides humans in the galaxy. You know, even when in the Bible, it says that there are different mansions in the heavens. I believe that those mansions are just different planets in the heavens, up in space. That's what I don't know. I just always felt that when I heard that. I'm like, oh, that's the different planets, the heavens above us, the heavens and the mansions up there, the different planets and everything. You know, the Bible is about human creation. It's a book for humans. I believe that every planet has some sort of life form that has evolved on it for millions and billions of years, and they're not going to look like us. They're going to be different. So, I mean, that's just what I think. I'm sure some of you will disagree, but, you know, it's great to read all of the different opinions that I see under these videos, because a lot of you all have different opinions going on. But with They Live, a lot of you brung up this film a lot. I love this movie. And the point of the film really was that the aliens were already here on Earth. They were sleeping with humans. They looked human. They were able to blind the human from being able to truly see what was around, the programming. Just be a human, make babies, do what you're told. We're the authorities now, and we run your world. You don't know that. And people are getting wealthy by cooperating with them. They said if we just do what they want, but they didn't go into detail of what it is that they wanted. One man said, well, they use what they want, and then they go on to the next planet. We're livestock, we're pets, we're food, and they run everything. He said that there aren't even countries, leaders of countries like you think. They're all working together, and they run the whole damn planet. And you know, that is what it is. And the world you don't see, even if it's not a program like what he saw when he put on those glasses, the theme of it was, it's a world you don't see. What you don't know that's around you, and that we are here, but you don't know that. And you notice that again with a lot of the films, but it's all worded differently, or it looks different a little bit, like, oh, it's the fallen angel. Oh, it's the Nephilim. Oh, it's the Dracon. It's the UFO. It's the inner earth beings. It's this and that. Point being, you're not the only ones here. And some of them have powers and super strength. Some of them feed off energy, feed off human blood and stuff. All those missing people I showed. So it is tying together. So that is it for this video. I want to know, what do you think? I want to know, what do you believe? What do you believe when it comes to this? Do you believe that They Live is real? Do you believe in the aliens, or do you simply believe, again, oh, it's simply demons that came from the hell realm, or from the inner earth of hell or something? Give us more detail and tell us why you feel that way. Again, I did see different opinions, and people who are very religious, I mean, you stand by what you believe from what you were taught or what you read. But you have to understand that what you believe is not the authority or the beliefs of everybody on Earth. There are 8 billion people on Earth. We do not all believe in the same thing, type of thing. I'm all about proof. I need to see proof on stuff. I don't just go by what somebody says. People keep talking about this firmament. There is no evidence at all that we cannot leave Earth. At all. I have yet to see evidence that there's a something up blocking us from leaving Earth. And that there's water above the planet, and that we're not allowed to leave Earth. There's a space station up there that we know of. Yes, people can tell you anything. Maybe it's not true, but that's what we see. We've seen the spaceships go off. There's a satellite on Mars. And other countries have satellites that actually went to Mars. People believe the moon landing was fake. It didn't happen. They just wanted to convince us we could leave, type of thing. I don't know for sure. I'm going to be 50-50 on it, because maybe we are being lied to and maybe not. My thing is, there has not been any evidence presented that there is a firmament, a blockage from leaving Earth. No one has proved that yet. So I'm sorry, I don't believe it until I see it. Now, I have heard there's some sort of belt or something where it's so hot that you would immediately catch on fire trying to get out of here. I have heard that. I don't know if the government has created technology to where you can leave. I don't know, type of thing. But I know a number of you just say that because you're hardcore Christian and that's what you've been indoctrinated and told to believe, and you believe it. If it says that, that must be true. Fine, believe what you want. I haven't seen any evidence of a firmament above the planet. No one's seen it. So I can't say that that's true. I haven't seen that to be true. It's possible. Anything is possible. So I'm not going to say too much. Everyone is welcome here. Different opinions. Y'all all throughout the comments have all these different theories and opinions and everything. So, and I love to see it. Okay. And I'm not going to tell you not to believe in what you don't want to believe. It's up to you to believe what you want to believe. I'm just more of a person where if people say stuff, I need you to have this backed up with evidence that this is 100% true. I just leave it at, I don't know. I don't know if there's different things in the Arctic and there's species over there, and that's why the government has a treaty around the world with different countries that you can't go to the Arctic. What's going on over there? Maybe there are alien beings there. I just don't know. And I'm okay with saying, you know what? I just don't know. It might be true and it might not be true. But I've always known since I was a little girl and believed that humans and the galaxy, humans are the only creation. No, just using my logic, I know that cannot be possibly true. I don't believe that at all. And I don't believe that just because they're not human automatically makes them a demon and evil. I do believe some are evil again, like the Greys and stuff. And I think some just don't want to be bothered and some are good. Same thing I see on the planet with humans. So that's all I have to say. Let me know what you think, y'all. Please like, share, and subscribe. I will be reading your comments. And I am checking out some other things that y'all mentioned in these comments, things that I had not heard of. And I'll be looking at that as well and possibly talking about it in the very near future. Okay, I love finding out new things. And if I'm even wrong, finding out the truth, you know? So that's all for this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you hit the bell, click all notifications so you know when I'm live and when I'm uploading, and you'll get notified. Because if you don't, you won't even see my videos if you don't click the bell for all notifications. So you all take care. Bye, everybody.